I just recently learned about Bokashi, and I've been experimenting with it for the past few months. And essentially, Bokashi is a Japanese word and means fermented food waste. So in a normal compost bin, you can't add, or they say that you shouldn't add like dairy and meat and all this other stuff because like critters and stuff will get into it. But also with a compost bin, you're supposed to turn it every now and then, and you're supposed to have layers of like brown and fresh material. And it can be kind of complicated if you don't have enough knowledge or time to like set all this up. So Bokashi, what's really amazing about it is it is a system that you can like keep in your house, and you can put any food scraps into this bin. You put meat, cheese, dairy, bones, like small bones, not a ton of bones, but like if you have like chicken bones. And it needs to be in a closed container. Compost bins that are outside are aerobic. They need oxygen, so that's why you need to turn them so like the microbes can get oxygen and break it down. This system is anaerobic, so it doesn't need any oxygen. So you're actually trying to get all the oxygen out of the bin, and all the food waste is going to be pickled and preserved. You know, like kimchi is fermented and like that kind of stuff. Bokashi is that same kind of concept, okay? So another thing, it's gonna sit in here you're gonna fill the bucket up. I'm gonna go through that process. It's gonna ferment for 2 weeks, and then you can add it to your normal compost bin, or you can bury it right into the garden. We're gonna bury one in the garden today. Since it's like already pre-digested and fermented, it decomposes really quickly in the garden. So it's like already half digested, and so like once worms and stuff get to it, they can just like really power through it all, and it'll heat up really quickly. Also, since it's pickled and fermented, the pH is really low. I think it's between like 3 and 4, and rodents and raccoons won't mess with it. So you can throw it into your compost bin, and then you won't really have an issue with critters and stuff. But these buckets are full of Bokashi. They have been sitting for a few weeks. Does anybody smell anything? Okay. So I've actually been keeping this in my house, like in my kitchen. So the process is you need to have a container that is completely sealable. It can be any size. Bucket, I've been using this. This is probably about like 2 or 3 weeks full of food waste. I'm gonna let y'all come pick this up. It is insane. Since I've been doing this, I've been taking out my trash a lot less. Like I just throw like other plastic, whatever waste in my garbage bag, and it doesn't stink or smell. It's really, really nice. But you need a container. One thing that you'll have to buy is Bokashi brand. There's also a way to do this without buying anything, which we have done, and it's working for me. It's a little more detailed process. I have a little cheat sheet, and it has like YouTube videos that you can go about making this yourself. So Bokashi bran, it could be a bunch of different substrates, but this is rice bran, and it's inoculated with certain bacteria. So I don't know if you want to like smell it. It kind of has like a sweet, fermenty smell. Oh, don't let it get wet, I'm sorry. But y'all can smell that. So it's a bran that is inoculated with some bacteria, and when you buy it, it's like manufactured in a lab, so you know what you're getting. Like you're getting the exact bacteria that will do this. There's a way to do it at home, which I will let y'all can take some of this home and experiment with it. So you can buy the bran.
It smells like... Oh, it just hit me. I'm sorry. She said
maybe like bread.
Like it smells like banana bread with like plain yogurt on it, because there's like a little bit of a sour.
Okay.
Banana
Beautiful. Thank you for saying that. So the main bacteria in here, it might say it on the bag. This probably says it on the website. It is lactobacillus.
Is it?
Yes. So there's a few other, yeah, that's a very good name. So the main bacteria here is lactobacillus. It is like one of the most powerful bacterias. They call it like the regulator because it'll balance, like, keep a balance between good and bad bacteria so bad don't overtake, but it'll let the good ones do their job, okay? So when you buy it, it's perfectly inoculated. There's a way at home Mostly this is lactobacillus. There's a few other like yeast and stuff, but the yeast is in the air too, so when you make this, it's kind of all the same thing. But you can make a lactobacillus serum at home for like insanely cheap. It takes about a week. I have the instructions, and after this I will totally deep dive with you and explain to you how to do it. So you can buy the brand, you can make this at home, and you can also buy their liquid inoculant, so you can have like a spray, or you can buy this and buy your own brand and inoculate your own brand for like dry storage. People also do it, essentially to make the brand, you just need any kind of carbon source. So people use newspaper, people use coffee grounds, rice bran, wheat bran, spent beer grains. There's just lots of stuff that you can use for cheap. So this bottle can stretch a very, very, very long time. I put some places on there where we've gotten Bokashi grain. Sometimes it can be expensive. I've just been using this serum and it's been working totally fine. Yeah, I can deep dive on that if y'all want me to, but I'm gonna go through the process of making some Bokashi. So this one's already been sitting for a while. It's almost done. One thing that you want to do is you want to open as little as possible. So maybe once a day, maybe once every 2 days. So just keep your like scraps on the side, and then you can just add all at once. It's anaerobic. You don't want to keep adding like more and more oxygen in here. So I'm gonna open it up. So it should smell like, I mean, it's still like food waste, so there is gonna be something funky about it, but mostly it should have like a sweet, sour, yeasty smell. I already smell it. Kind of. Also, you'll see like this white mycelium on top, and that's good. That means that the bacteria is working. Okay, so I've been throwing all kinds of stuff in here. For sitting in here for a few weeks, y'all smell?
Yeah.
Does it smell like putrid and rotten?
No, it's just like that, like
Thank you.
fermented sweet smell. But like, I mean,
Okay.
it's like a new smell in the area.
It is different. Okay, so what I do there are systems. I think, Kelly, do you have one that has like the little nozzle on it? Oh yeah, those are yours, I'm sorry. So you can buy, if you go online and look, there are systems that have like little spouts on the bottom, and you can drain off the liquid, because liquid's gonna build up as you are like putting more and more food in here. And people drain off the liquid and they'll dilute it and just add it right into their garden. It has lots of nutrients in it. But I'm just cheap and I didn't want to do that. So what I do is I just take shredded cardboard or paper and put like 2 inches down, and it'll help absorb liquid as it's breaking down. So what you want to do is, before I start, I'll just put like a little more of the Bokashi grain. Just take about a handful, sprinkle, cover, and then you can just start adding stuff in here. I have some mozzarella cheese that was...
Could we add the food waste from Chef's Cooking?
Yeah, I don't have a ton of space in here. I have some old eggs. Sometimes I like to like break stuff up just so there's more surface area for the bacteria. Have some old bread. Once you get like a layer, like an inch or two, a couple inches of food waste, I'm gonna add more Bokashi, okay? So don't, okay, I have some soup here. One thing I would say, really liquid, like I wouldn't pour milk or anything super liquidy. I'm gonna drain off some of this liquid because we really just want the solids. You want like a little as liquid as possible. Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, there is one little fly flying around. That's not great. All right, food waste. This is like old protein powder that I found. We're gonna add this in there and see how it does. Probably could have used this to make Bokashi grain. Yeah.
Are there, you said small bones, things like that. Are there food waste items that you would heavily suggest not putting in?
Put anything in here. Any food waste. So
So you don't have to worry about like the balance like you do with the brown green with the other kind.
Correct.
It's just like every 2 to 3 inches, add the sprinkle of that.
Yep.
But if you don't use this, what would you do after the 2 or 3 inches?
You can make your own spray, or you can buy this liquid and make a spray. So you do have to be putting some of the good bacteria, the lactobacillus, in between. So I just keep a paper bag on top, and I just push down to get as much air as possible. Once your bucket is full, you're going to seal it off, and then it needs to totally ferment. From the last stuff that you put in, it needs to sit for 2 weeks. So everything in there is going to ferment. Both of these have been sitting 2 weeks?
Just the one with the
Okay. So that's going to chill. I can move that outside. Nothing's going to mess with it. Yeah, you don't have to do anything to it. You can add whatever, literally anything to it. Raw meat. Oh, I'm sorry. If stuff is moldy, don't add moldy stuff to it, because that mold, that bacteria can possibly outcompete with the other stuff. So I got Kelly onto this, and she's been doing it. And this is one of her buckets that's been sitting for a few weeks. She said she hasn't been pushing it down, so just remember to try and push stuff down. But I mean, it's been sitting 2 weeks. Things are not going to look much different than when you put them in there. Okay, just like when kimchi still looks like cabbage, pickles still look like cucumbers. But I mean, as long as you don't have like a total rotten putrid smell, like this has been sitting 2 weeks, so I know that this is working because it's like pickled and preserved in there. So from this, after it sits for 2 weeks, I have 2 buckets, and I've just it will take me about 2 weeks to fill it up. Once it's done, you can dig a trench in your garden and just bury this right away into the garden 6 to 8 inches deep. Or you can add it to a compost bin and just cover it with leaves or wood chips. Okay, just lay them out right there. I think since this is such a small bucket, I'm just gonna bury it on this side. So we'll plant some broccoli here next to the bokashi, and then we'll plant the rest without bokashi. All right, we have some irrigation lines here. All right, let's open this bad boy up. Thank you, Kelly, for letting us steal your bokashi. Okay, you can see she put a little paper at the bottom. Some people wash these out. I've heard that you can just leave it. It smells like, I mean, I ferment veggies. I know, I think I do. I mean, I ferment stuff all the time, so I'm like used to the funk. I like it, yeah. Yeah, this smells pretty much like the ones I've been doing, so. All right, and we'll bury it up. That could probably have been a little deeper, but. All right, if y'all want to help me plant really quick, I'll lay some plants out and y'all can just plop them in the ground right where I lay them. Also, I have tons of plants for y'all to take home and lots of seeds. I'm sorry I don't have bokashi green for y'all. I tried my hardest.
gonna make our own. It'll be totally fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oops, sorry. Oh, thank you. Oh, the rain, why?
It's gonna start raining harder on us.
I know. I appreciate y'all so much for standing in the rain and listening to me talk about food waste.
I was surprised to see you guys out here, but had to.
And well, it didn't have a rain chance. There wasn't until this morning.
30, and it was not.
Okay.
I'm happy I kept going because there's fruit and bananas and there's no bars right there. And then Chef's got pork and greens. And also, if anyone needs to like text a ride.